Hey guys, hope you're all doing fine. It's been a long time since I've been on YouTube, and as you guessed, life has kept me busy. Fear not, I'm back and I've got a new project to share with you guys. I think you'll like it. So, in all my excitement for this project, I might accidentally leave out some information, and for that, I apologize in advance. So, let's get into it, shall we? This is it. This is, as far as I know, 1987 Mahindra CJ500D, or Jeep as we like to call it. The earliest version of the CJ3B with a diesel engine. Obviously, I don't know everything about this machine, and whatever I say is from my own limited learnings. The intent of this video is to give you a picture of the current condition of the Jeep. I intend to restore this Jeep, and I thought making this video would be a good starting point or a reference point for us to look back. I've divided this video into sections for making it easier for you guys to understand the different parts that are in play here. So there are a lot of things wrong with this build or this machine, but let me start with the most important thing, which is the chassis or the frame. This CJ500D has an open channel C channel frame, which is less rigid than the box frames of today. I could see a lot of rust in the frame, particularly below the radiator and front grille. Honestly, this is the part of the frame which I'm worried about the most, because I can see a lot of rust and corrosion. A bit of surface rust is not an issue, but I can see a lot of pitting and deeper corrosion areas, which is of concern. The middle section of the frame is not so bad. It is almost in a perfectly good condition. Most of the body mounts are intact, but I can see that a lot of the suspension mounts are broken off. The rear, as you can see, has undergone a lot of repairs in the past. So this is the underside of the frame, and you can clearly see the body with the holes in it, the rust holes, and I think it's in a fairly okayish condition. We should be able to save it. Next up is the powertrain. This CJ500D was the earliest of the diesel engine vehicles offered by Mahindra. Since Mahindra did not have their own diesel engines at that time, so they used their tractor lineups diesel engines, which were again manufactured under license from International Harvester, an American firm. The specific model is the International B275. This was an indirect injection diesel engine, and one of my biggest woes right now is this engine. It is so slow and not at all suitable to be used as an everyday vehicle, at least in this day and age. And the biggest problem or trouble with my engine is getting it started, and I think it's a general trait of these indirect injection engines is they are tough to start, but once they start they keep on going and are trouble free. So let me go over the starting procedure for this Jeep. It requires you to hold on to the glow plugs for a minute before even trying to crank it. So for my Jeep, for example, it takes at least 2 minutes to heat up the glow plugs. I think it's because of their age and the cylinders might have low compression. I'm not sure. And this engine specifically is so bad that at starting that it needs a few attempts at heating and cranking cycles before it gets going. Here I am pressing and holding the glow plug button. There is also a visible glow plug indicator that also heats up simultaneously to let you know that it's hot. Coming to the gearbox, this is the original T9 TT18 gearbox transfer case combo used in World War II Jeeps, or the Willys Jeeps if you know them. This is a 3-lever 3+ reverse gear with transfer case. offering four-wheel drive and high-low range capabilities. So far, I have not had any issues with this gearbox, and I would like to retain it even if I do an engine swap. Interesting fact, you can have a PTO output taken out from the back of this gearbox, just like a tractor. The differentials, as far as I know, are Dana 25s. I am quite unsure of the ratios of these differentials though. Both my differentials have considerable backlash in them, and this is not a good sign, but let's remain hopeful. So eventually I'm gonna swap this engine with that of the Bolero, an MD8 3200 TC engine if possible, and make this a daily driver. The next thing we are gonna address are the suspension and tires. Both the front and backs have leaf springs with dampers. The dampers are short and the front has serious droop, which makes this Jeep sit sideways and makes you feel like you're cornering even though you're driving on a straight road. Swapping the front leaf springs is number one on my list of repairs after the engine is sorted. That is. Here you could see the propeller shaft from the transfer case driving the front differential. The rear leaf springs, as you can see, are in better shape than the front ones. As you guys can see, the front shock mounts have broken off and you can see it dangling in space. Actually, it should be attached to the frame. It is the same case with the rears, but I think these are easily fixable by using bolts. So let's have a look at the tires. These are 600-16 tires, which are the original size but not really the original pattern. I really love the look of the Jeep with these original tires, and these rims are also the original rims, which I also think look great. So originally when we bought this Jeep, it came with these huge tires, which I'm not really a big fan of. So the first thing I did was get a few tires from the old market and swap them for these. So here's a comparison of the old and new tires. Some people like the bigger tires, but personally I don't. To each his own, I guess. These tires would really come in handy if there was an off-road situation, but I don't really face off-road a lot. Next comes the steering. This CJ500D has the original worm and sector type steering gear. The main disadvantage with this type is the large number of links, which increases the slack in the steering wheel. And did I mention to you guys about the steering radius? It's horrible. A more reasonable setup would be again the Bolero's recirculating ball type steering gearbox. Even the non-power steering ones are a pleasure to use in the Boleros. Now here you can see the steering wheel play. Around a quarter turn is just useless and just increases driver fatigue. These vehicles were not really made for comfort, and I have made my peace with that. In fact, I love that about this Jeep. With such a huge turning radius, if you find yourself in a small street with a tight corner, then you'll be working your first and reverse gears for at least 15 minutes before you get out of it. #dramatic reenactment. This Jeep has drum brakes on all four corners, and it is just ample for the limited speeds that this is capable of. The braking effort is high, but I think it's livable. Working the clutch is like doing a leg workout. An essential upgrade, I would say, is adding a brake booster. The body tub, man, where do I even begin? Everywhere I turn, there is rust. 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 And more rust. A recent update is that I inquired about a body tub here in Kerala, and it costs around 45,000 to get a new body tub. When I was a naive kid, I used to think that this tub is repairable, but after sitting here for a year in my backyard, I have lost hope on this body tub. The restorer in me wants to save this body tub, but I neither have the skills or the money or the time to pursue this mammoth task. There is a playlist in YouTube by this YouTuber called Metal Shaper. Man, he is an artist. I have seen him make the entire Jeep's body tub by hand in his own garage with just some sheet forming techniques. Do check him out. I think he should have a lot more followers than what he has. Anyway, that's the body tub. Now let's move on to an underrated topic, which is one of my favorite: the auto electricals. I love this topic, and I'm sort of an aspiring perfectionist in this area. And this CJ500D is a perfect project. Not too complicated, but challenging at the same time. Currently, the wiring is a mess. I have made the headlight, horn, and the indicators to work, but it's a huge mess apart from that inside the cabin. So this engine in its current condition is a very rough running engine. I think it's mainly because one of the cylinders is not having enough compression and it's not firing properly. And I also have to apologize to you guys because I don't have any video that shows me driving the Jeep, but it is in driving condition. So this is the current overview of the CJ500D. I'm telling you this upfront that this is going to be a long-term project, and I'm not sure I'll be able to update it regularly. So be patient with me, and if you want to follow me along in this journey, please subscribe. This is a time and money consuming project, and I will do it at my own pace. So that's it, and I'll see you around.